Hello, it's Joe again. It's Friday. It's probably about 4 o'clock-ish. I always forget to look at the clock first. But yeah, it's probably about 4 o'clock-ish. Maybe a little bit after. Here comes Deuce. Anyhow, I got some stuff in today. I forgot I made an order from MCV Products. Take your models to the next level. Or something like that. Excuse my bad accent. But I forgot I had ordered some stuff from them. One of which being this 302. Well, actually, it's a small block Ford. Deuce, get down. It could be any small block Ford, but I'm going to say it's a 302. And it comes with long tube and short tube headers. This is going to go in my Mustang 2 dirt track car I'm working on. But yeah, it's going to go in there. I wanted something different. I didn't want to use the kit engine because it was nasty. Then on eBay, wait, I got more from MCV. I got some slapper bars. I always like those. I got Attack. Not Attacked, but Attack with the shift light. It's really kind of hard to see and focus on. What else I get? Oh, some electric fans. Because those are always kind of cool to have for projects. I do a lot of projects lately that, for some reason, once you put a resin engine in, or a 3D printed, or an aftermarket, or any kind of engine from another kit, it's always like that close to the radiator, and you don't have room for a fan belt and all that, so those come in handy. Or you have room for the belt, but no fan. And then, as usual, he always throws in carbs. So there's some Dominator type carbs there. And I also ordered from eBay, from this here company. Where are they? Oh, here we are. HipsySticky.net, but I think they may be the same name they use on eBay. And what these are, guys and gals, my fellow model builders, when looking for decals, don't dismiss, as I discovered these by accident, water slide fingernail decals that go on fingernails. Now, of course, that means they're going to be small, but there's all kinds of themes. And there's my, breast cancer awareness decals I was talking about. Plus, she threw in some butterflies, and on her business card, she threw in some smiley faces, paw prints, Halloween pumpkins, and stuff like that. So that's kind of cool. So these decals, along with the ones I showed you yesterday, now these are the dark pink. There was light pink, medium pink, and dark pink, I think. They're going to look just hunky-dory on this lighter pink and on the white. I'm kind of going to go with they may be in a pattern. They may be kind of random with the other decals. It's just going to get decorated with those. But yeah, there's the van. I just got the decals. So now the decals came in. I think I got one more sheet on the way. I got to check my eBay. But I forgot about MCV. I got a package. I thought it was Iceman. My Iceman already? No, I got to be a couple more days. I'm like, MCV. I forgot I ordered this. Yeah, so that's going to go into my, hold on a second. Let's get it for you. Yeah, that's going to go. This is the short track group build that I never made. I had 3 of them going. I had the asphalt modified from Salvino's. I had this, and I had the Dodge Dart. All of which I was kind of rotating between. Now this one is in primer. I'm going to have some decals made for the body. It's going to be themed after the Drive-By Truckers song, Daddy's Cup, which is about dirt track racing. And in the song he mentions a Mustang number 2. So, Mustang 2. So, there we go. I got some of these wheels and tires. I think these are Ron Kuhn. I think. But I got some dirt track wheels and tires. 3D printed there. I got a set of those. I got a Mustang 2 3D printed front end. I just gotta, finish. Yeah, that glues together like that, but the cross member has to be modified widthwise because the chassis that comes with this thing is just like a one-piece deal. So I got that and a few other things, but now I got the small block engine to go in it. So yeah, it's going to be this kit, but it's going to be done up as a dirt track car. And it's probably going to be numbered 13 and sponsored by Club 13. It was a club that the band played in their early days down south there. I can't remember exactly where it's at, but yeah, because their album was called Welcome to Club 13. And so I'm going to have some STS make me up some. I'm going to download some of the logos off the album cover and off the actual. I'm not sure if the club is still there or not. But Club 13, I think it was Alabama or someplace like that, or Tennessee. But I'm gonna maybe have that as a sponsor and make it a number 13 car, and kind of go with the album on. If you know the Drive-By Truckers, cool. If you don't, look them up, especially their earlier stuff. Now they went a couple album covers that diverged from their normal album covers. If you know what I mean, you got to know their history. It always had this weird kind of. I guess you call it gothic comic book art for the longest time. Then they did a couple albums that were kind of, well, it lost a lot of their fans because they went woke. They had one with like a tombstone and a BLM and a rainbow flag. I'm like, guys, you're Southerners. And, they're pretty much to the left for Southern band. You wouldn't expect it from them. But their album covers were always this artsy stuff that, Gangsta Billy was one of the name of the albums. In fact, Drive-By Truckers, they're kind of thinking of changing their name because it might be offensive to some. I'm like, guys, that's your name. Just let it go. God, I'm neither side, but just come on. But anyhow, yeah, they did a lot of really cool artwork, or whoever did it. And, they had all kinds of titles for their albums that were, Southern themed, and but the artwork was always cool looking. And I don't have any of your CDs in front of me right now where I'd show you a couple. But anyhow, yeah, they have this song about dirt tracking. It's basically, him growing up and, the character in the song growing up. His dad never made it. His dad always wanted to have his name engraved on a winning cup. But his dad, passes before. Well, he wrecked, for one thing. He went end over end and lost some of his eyesight and couldn't drive. So the son in the song works to buy a car, and he kind of does disastrously at first, and kind of a cool tune. And so that's kind of what this is going to be themed off of, the whole song, Daddy's Cup. If you get a chance, listen to it. It's just a good old Southern rock, country-ish sort of song about, growing up and working to buy a dirt track car and learning to get better, and his daddy's picture is always on the dash. So I'm going to try to download a picture of some old stock car driver and, reduce it to where it's still legible and stick it to the dash of this thing and go with the theme of the song. But so that's where this is going. So in fact, I should drop this engine in this box, and when I get back to it, at least it'll be there. I've been meaning to get a nice 302 or a small block type, Ford for this project. And there we go. That'll be just perfect. But yeah, that's where I'm at today. I kind of put in a few hours today. Oh, God, turned out being a longer day than I thought. I put a power inverter, if you know what one of those is, in the back of a utility truck, with the all the drawers and cabinets. Well, normally for this company, we always put them in one of the cabinets because that's where they keep all their rechargeable drills and saws and guns and everything else, and all their batteries and chargers. So they plug into this thing. They'll put a power strip back there. They plug everything in back there. And when they're driving, they turn the power inverter on and, it charges their stuff while they're driving. Well, I put the inverter in the back in one of the compartments, the most empty one there was. Most of them were full, but this one had all the batteries and rechargeable items. I'm thinking, well, that's the perfect place. And so did my boss. He goes, oh, that'd be a good place to put it. And this was a big inverter. Like, this thing's like huge. So I run the wires. I start running them. You know, there was some grommet holes, so I was able to run our cables down through there. And I was just this close to running a drill driver in and self-tapping this thing down and then getting underneath it and running the wires up front to the battery. Boss comes back, he's on the phone, and he goes, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, yeah, he's got it mounted there right now, and I'm thinking, oh, no. I knew what that meant. He goes, okay, well, we'll do that. He hangs up. I said, let me guess. He doesn't want it there. He goes, nope. He wants it under the seat up front. I'm like, in the cab. I'm like, really? I was just about to run these wires. So I had to route them back out of there and go seal the holes that I made. And I go to put them in the interior under the front seat. And there's no way in hell it's going to fit under the front seat because it has ducting under there and all kinds of other crap. This big inverter only went under that far. So I'm like, well, you can't have it there because people are going to put their wet, muddy feet there and ruin it. So under the back seat of the truck that folds up, I had to put it a certain place that it could still fold and sit down all the way, but yet wasn't totally in the way. So I finally got that done. So it added time to my job. I would have been done by 11. So then on top of all that hullabaloo, the girl comes back we have working with us, goes, Joe, that remote start you did yesterday. I said, yeah. She goes, the check engine light's on and the heater functions aren't working and the steering wheel controls aren't working. I'm like, oh, God, son of a... So I finished the inverter truck pretty much right before lunch. It was almost like 99% done. I finished it after we ate. And then I pulled the remote starter issue back in. And it was the data wires. They have to be hooked up to this little plug that goes nowhere except to the other wires. Honestly, it's this dummy plug. I took it apart and I looked at it. And there's a thing in there shaped kind of like this. It's got 5 fingers. And all 5 fingers are connected on both sides of the plug. So in other words, there's 3 wires on each side of these rows. All 3 wires are basically, essentially connected together for a total of 6 wires on each side of the plug like that. They're connected together. So what I had to do was individually cut them off the plug, splice all this group of 3 together, group this 3 together, and hook it to our wires, and everything's clear. And then I think I'm almost out of it. I'm like, okay, I fixed that. Maybe I can get out of here today, you know. Boss comes back and goes, hey, by the way, could you look at such and such's truck? His underbody lighting isn't working. I'm like, okay. Underbody lights or rock lights, whatever you want to call them, they're kind of the same thing now. They're supposed to be watertight, but I don't think any of them totally are. You know, especially when they're in the wheel well, they're getting hammered by road spray. And not just water, but around here, salt and calcium chloride and whatever else they put on the roads. And what happens a lot of times with these lights, you'll look through the lens, it's probably that big around, and you'll see that this little circuit board and the LEDs in there are no longer clear. They're greenish brown color because water got in there and corroded them. So I go outside, I flip the switch on, and I get my head up under the fender well, and I'm like, all the lights are working. I'm like, well, what the hell? Because there's 2 lights under each fender well. So I said, let me pull it in and take a look. Maybe they're not as bright as they should be. It was hard to tell out in the sunlight. So I pull this truck in the shop and, yeah, they're all bright. But then I noticed there's light on the floor because we put underbody clear lights. They're about that big around and about that thick. Front bumper, back bumper, and 2 each on the sides. Well, I got off the driver's side, I looked down on the floor, and that side's dark. All the other lights are working. 1, 2, 3, 4, total of 6 lights. 2 of them are burnt out. Both on the driver's side, I looked at them. The lens isn't even clear white anymore. It's like brown, dark brown and greenish. So that means those 2 are corroded out. So we don't have any in stock, so we have to order some. And so I got done with that, and so then I BS'd around for a little bit, and the boss took care of me money-wise, and I'm on my way. So I'm done until next week, I guess, but, yeah. Excuse me. But yeah, if you get a chance, give this company a try. They're pretty cool. Where the hell is, oh yeah, here it is. Hipsy Sticky. I think that's the same number or the same ID they use on eBay. But yeah, like water slide fingernail art or fingernail decal. Look those up. There's a lot of little decals. You know, none of them are going to be big, of course, because they're for fingernails. But they're water slide decals, and you can clear over them because they tell you, you know, if you want to put the clear polish on, what's the difference? Clear is clear. I've used a lot of them in a lot of, especially a 1/64 scale die cast. They come in really handy for those. But yeah, for models, for small areas or little accents, there's all kinds of subject matter. So yeah, do yourself a favor, look those up. And yeah, I'm going to get my butt moving here and do a few things and maybe get on some of my toys here now that I'm home and settled in for the day, I hope. But yeah, what a day. Yeah, I thought for sure I'd be out of there by 10:30 or 11. I'm thinking, oh, power inverter, that doesn't take long to do. And normally I just drop a couple holes, drop them down, zip, zip, zip with a couple self-tappers. Sometimes I'll bolt them. If I'm bolting to a shelf, I'll bolt them. I'll put a nut on either side. If I'm going to the floor of the toolbox, I'll just zip in more self-tappers and drop the wires, run to the battery, put a fuse holder, connect it up, and it's done. Oh, yeah. As soon as my boss came back talking on the phone, I heard his half of the conversation going, well, he's already got it there. I'm like, oh, I knew exactly what that meant. He wants it somewhere else. You know, I don't like it in the compartment. I'm like, that's where the rechargeable stuff is. I'm thinking maybe he's using it for a laptop charger or for a printer. A lot of these companies do that. They'll have they'll have their laptop, they'll have a printer in the vehicle on the seat, and they'll plug in there and they'll print out documents or whatever. But for some reason, this guy wanted it in the cab. So I made him happy. I fixed the starter and I, at least assessed the problem on the lights. So all is good for now. So that means, hey, Deuce, hey, Mitzi, they're both here. But yeah, I'm going to watch some TV, watch some YouTube, and work on some stuff and enjoy my afternoon. So I'll catch you real soon. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and or subscribe. Please share, subscribe. I'd appreciate it. Bye-bye.